Good morning to you. So glad you are here today. Today is November 21st. We are still in week 47. We are actually on day 326 today. Let's see. We're still in the book of Ezekiel, and this reading today is going to talk about the priest's chambers. God's glory fills the temple as a sign of his presence among his people. The divine guide measures the inner court, describing the chambers, the entrances, and other features with exact measurements, emphasizing sacred order and design. This court is reserved for the priests, showing the separation between holy and common spaces. So it is kind of hard to get through because it's measurements and it's building, and we're not carpenters. We don't I can't even, I don't understand. I don't know what a cubit is and all that. I plan to learn, but this is my first time reading the Bible from beginning to end. So I'm just going to read it. I'll go back later and study more to understand. But that's basically what we will be covering in Old Testament today. So, like I said, it is week 47, day 326. It is November 21st. We will be reading out of Ezekiel chapter 42, verses 1 through to chapter 43 to verse 27. All right. Then the man led me, Ezekiel, northward into the outer court and brought me to the rooms opposite the temple courtyard and opposite the outer wall on the north side. The building, whose door faced north, was 100 cubits long and 50 cubits wide, both in the section 20 cubits from the inner court and in the section opposite the pavement of the outer court. Gallery faced gallery at the three levels. In front of the rooms was an inner passageway 10 cubits wide and 100 cubits long. Their doors were on the north. Now the upper rooms were narrower, for the galleries took more space from them than from the rooms on the lower and middle floors of the building. The rooms on the third floor had no pillars, as the courts had, so they were smaller in floor space than those on the lower and middle floors. There was an outer wall parallel to the rooms and the outer court. It extended in front of the rooms for 50 cubits. While the row of rooms on the side next to the outer court was 50 cubits long, the row on the side nearest the sanctuary was 100 cubits long. The lower rooms had an entrance on the east side as one enters them from the outer court. On the south side, along the length of the wall of the outer court, adjoining the temple courtyard and opposite the outer wall, were rooms with a passageway in front of them. These were like the rooms on the north. They had the same length and width with similar exits and dimensions, similar to the doorways on the north or the doorways of the rooms on the south. There was a doorway at the beginning of the passageway that was parallel to the corresponding wall extending eastward by which one enters the rooms. Then he said to me, the north and south rooms facing the temple courtyard are the priests' rooms, where the priests who approach the Lord will eat the most holy offerings. There they will put the most holy offerings, the grain offerings, the sin offerings, and the guilt offerings, for the place is holy. Once the priests enter the holy precincts, they are not to go into the outer court until they leave behind the garments in which they minister, for these are holy. They are to put on outer clothes before they go near the places that are for the people. When he had finished measuring what was inside the temple area, he led me out by the east gate and measured the area all around. He measured the east side with the measuring rod. It was 500 cubits. He measured the north side. It was 500 cubits by the measuring rod. He measured the south side. It was 500 cubits by the measuring rod. Then he turned to the west side and measured. It was 500 cubits by the measuring rod. So he measured the area on all four sides. It had a wall around it, 500 cubits long and 500 cubits wide, to separate the holy from the common. Then the man brought me to the gate facing east. And I saw the glory of the God of Israel coming from the east. His voice was like the roar of rushing waters, and the land was radiant with his glory. The vision I saw was like the vision I had seen when he came to destroy the city, and like the visions I had seen by the Kibar River, and I fell face down. The glory of the Lord entered the temple through the gate facing east. Then the Spirit lifted me up and brought me into the inner court, and the glory of the Lord filled the temple. While the man was standing beside me, I heard someone speaking to me from inside the temple. He said, "Son of man, this is the place of my throne and the place for the soles of my feet. This is where I will live among the Israelites forever. The house of Israel will never again defile my holy name, neither they nor their kings, by their prostitution and the lifeless idols of their kings at their high places. When they placed their threshold next to my threshold and their doorposts beside my doorposts, with only a wall between me and them, they defiled my holy name by their detestable practices. So I destroyed them in my anger. Now let them put away from me their prostitution and the lifeless idols of their kings, and I will live among them forever. Son of man, describe the temple to the people of Israel that they may be ashamed of their sins. Let them consider the plan. And if they are ashamed of all they have done, make known to them the design of the temple, its arrangement, its exits and entrances, its whole design, and all its regulations and laws. Write these down before them so that they may be faithful to its design and follow all its regulations. This is the law of the temple. All the surrounding area on top of the mountain will be most holy. Such is the law of the temple. These are the measurements of the altar in long cubits, that cubit being a cubit and a hand breadth. Its gutter is a cubit deep and a cubit wide, with a rim of one span around the edge. And this is the height of the altar. From the gutter on the ground up to the lower ledge, it is 2 cubits high and a cubit wide. And from the smaller ledge up to the larger ledge, it is 4 cubits high and a cubit wide. The altar hearth is 4 cubits high, and 4 horns project upward from the hearth. The altar hearth is square, 12 cubits long and 12 cubits wide. The upper ledge also is square, 14 cubits long and 14 cubits wide, with a rim of half a cubit and a gutter of a cubit all around. The steps of the altar face east. Then he said to me, "Son of man, this is what the sovereign Lord says. These will be the regulations for sacrificing burnt offerings and sprinkling blood upon the altar when it is built. You are to give a young bull as a sin offering to the priests who are Levites of the family of Zadok, who come near to minister before me, declares the sovereign Lord. You are to take some of its blood and put it on the 4 horns of the altar and on the 4 corners of the upper ledge and all around the rim, and so purify the altar and make atonement for it. You are to take the bull for the sin offering and burn it in the designated part of the temple area outside the sanctuary. On the second day, you are to offer a male goat without defect for a sin offering, and the altar is to be purified as it was purified with the bull. When you have finished purifying it, you are to offer a young bull and a ram from the flock, both without defect. You are to offer them before the Lord, and the priests are to sprinkle salt on them and sacrifice them as burnt offering to the Lord. For 7 days, you are to provide a male goat daily for a sin offering. You are also to provide a young bull and a ram from the flock, both without defect. For 7 days, they are to make atonement for the altar and cleanse it. Thus, they will dedicate it. At the end of these days, from the 8th day on, the priests are to present your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings on the altar. Then I will accept you, declares the sovereign Lord." All right, now we're going to move on to New Testament New Testament. James, we're going to be reading out of the book of James, chapter 5, verses 1 through 20. And this covers, it's a warning to the rich, a call for patience, prayer, and healing in faith. Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming upon you. Your wealth has rotted, and moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded. Their corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. You have hoarded wealth in the last days. Look, the wages you failed to pay the workmen who mowed your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. You have lived on earth in luxury and self indulgence. You have fattened yourselves in the day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered innocent men who were not opposing you. Be patient then, brothers, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop and how patient he is for the autumn and spring rains. You too be patient and stand firm because the Lord's coming is near. This kind of reminds me of like what's going on with P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever he goes by, and Hollywood and all the things that are coming out, Epstein Island, Oprah Winfrey, all this stuff. You know, never be envious of people that look like they have it better than you, because God only knows what they're doing behind closed doors, and they will not get away with it. So that's what this is about, pretty much, I feel. All right, you too be patient and stand firm because the Lord's coming is near. Don't grumble against each other, brothers, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door. Brothers, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. As you know, we consider blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Above all, my brothers, do not swear, not by heaven or by earth or by anything else. Let your yes be yes and your no, no, or you will be condemned. Is any one of you in trouble? He should pray. Is anyone happy? Let him sing songs of praise. Is any one of you sick? He should call the elders of the church to pray over him and anoint him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer offered in faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise him up. If he has sinned, he will be forgiven. Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of the righteous man is powerful and effective. Elijah was a man just like us. He prayed earnestly that it would not rain, and it did not rain on the land for 3.5 years. Again, he prayed, and the heavens gave rain, and the earth produced its crop. My brothers, if one of you should wander from the truth and someone should bring him back, remember this: whoever turns a sinner from the error of his way will save him from death and cover a multitude of sins. So it's very, very, very important to be a good role model, because little eyes are looking up to you. Actually, all eyes are looking at you, especially when you declare yourself a Christian, because they want to pick you apart. So you definitely be an example and lead others to Christ. That's why we're here. That's the number one reason we're here. All right, now we're going to move on to Psalm 119, and we're going to read verses 1 through 16. And this psalm is about commitment to following God's commands and how they bring blessings. Blessed are they whose ways are blameless, who walk according to the law of the Lord. Blessed are they who keep his statutes and seek him with all their heart. They do nothing wrong. They walk in his ways. You have laid down precepts that are to be fully obeyed. Oh, that my ways are steadfast in obeying your decrees. Then I would not be put to shame when I consider all your commands. I will praise you with an upright heart as I learn your righteous laws. I will obey your decrees. Do not utterly forsake me. How can a young man keep his way pure? By living according to your word. I seek you with all my heart. Do not let me stray from your commands. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Praise be to you, O Lord. Teach me your decrees. With my lips, I recount all the laws that come from your mouth. I rejoice in following your statutes as one rejoices in great riches. I meditate on your precepts and consider your ways. I delight in your decrees. I will not neglect your word. And last but not least, we have Proverbs chapter 28, verses 6 and 7. And this talks about how honesty is better than riches. Better a poor man whose walk is blameless, excuse me, than a rich man whose ways are perverse. He who keeps the law is a discerning son, but a companion of gluttons disgraces his father. And if you just started watching me, or you just recently subscribed, I do have a playlist that gives you every week of the year. It's 52 weeks in the year. And if you look at that playlist, it'll give you week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and on and on and on. And then I have other videos. Those will also be in the playlist separate, because I'm going to be doing videos on becoming a YouTube content creator. And then I also have shorts, okay, that I have on my TikTok as well. And the shorts they're actually 1 minute. They're called 1 minute morning meditations, and they're Proverbs. And I literally was able to use Chat GPT to help me with these videos by giving a prompt and a very descriptive image for Chat GPT to design and create for me. And so I was able to make these little 1 minute videos about Proverbs for my visual learners, as well as those that learn by reading. So I hope you enjoy those. I've had an amazing, such a wonderful time making them. It has been truly fun and so creative. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I hope you enjoy it thoroughly as well. Again, thank you so much for being here with me today. I love you. I never take you for granted. If you have not subscribed as of yet, please do so. It is free. And please hit that like button, because when you hit that like button, it pushes my content out. It lets the algorithm and YouTube know that you value my content and you want others to see it. And it helps you share God's word and bring more people to the kingdom of God. So be very gracious and giving with your likes, because they help people. And I encourage you to subscribe and hitting the like button. A lot of people think it's not a big deal, but it actually is very much a big deal for content creators, because that's what helps get our content out to more eyes. So it's free for you to do. It doesn't take anything but a second. If you really like somebody and you value their content, doing these videos is not the easiest thing in the world. It is a job, especially if you do it right and you are committed to it and you really are trying to give good quality content to people. So reward them by subscribing, and you can always turn your notification bell off if they do too many uploads, or you get too many notifications or whatever. But I encourage you to support people that you love and people that you enjoy watching their content, and always give their videos a thumbs up, because that pushes it out. The algorithm picks it up and it just pushes it out so that more people will see it. And that, to me, is a great way to contribute to society. So again, I love you. Thank you for being here with me today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye now.